From darkness to light, overcoming sin and temptation through the lessons of Genesis chapter 4. Dear friends, it is a blessing to be with you tonight as we gather to reflect on the lessons of Genesis chapter 4. This chapter speaks to the timeless struggle of overcoming sin and temptation, a struggle that is as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. In this chapter, we see the story of Cain and Abel, two brothers who offered their sacrifices to God. While Abel's offering was accepted, Cain's was not, and instead of turning to God for guidance, Cain allowed his jealousy to turn into bitterness and resentment, ultimately leading to his committing a terrible act of violence against his brother Abel. But this story is not just a story of Cain and Abel, it is a story of us. For we too are prone to sin and temptation, especially when things do not go our way or when we are struggling with jealousy and bitterness. But just as God provided a way for Cain to turn from his sin and temptation, He also provides a way for us to do the same. Through the power of Christ's love and sacrifice, we can find the strength to turn from sin and temptation and instead seek the wisdom and guidance of God. We can ask God to reveal to us the root of our sin and temptation and to help us to resist it. And just as God put a mark on Cain to protect him from harm, we too can have the assurance of God's protection as we work to overcome our sin and temptation. And just as God provided for Cain and his family, we too can trust that God will provide for us, even in the midst of our struggles. For God's love and provision is not based on our sacrifices or our worthiness, but on His grace and mercy. So, my friends, I urge you to turn to Genesis chapter 4 for wisdom and guidance as you work to overcome sin and temptation. Remember, through the power of Christ's love and sacrifice, we can find the strength to turn from sin and temptation and instead seek the wisdom and guidance of God. May God bless you and bring you peace and hope as you walk in His light and resist the darkness of sin and temptation.